Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, for joining us today. I appreciate your willingness to discuss your budget proposals and other matters of importance and concern to Americans. BLM is currently operating under an interim plan that outlines certain procedures for maintaining the habitat of the sage grouse. I wanted to ask, just off the bat, if there's any possibility that a state plan could be approved as a substitute to that interim habitat management plan.
Senator Lee, I think you have your finger on what is one of the most important issues for us in 11 states in the West. And in that vein, Governor Meade from Wyoming and Governor Hickenlooper from Colorado are working with Bob Abbey, the director of the BLM, to see how we can move forward with a template that was developed in Wyoming so that we can allow development to move forward and at the same time have a Western states strategy that is protective of the habitat and that is protective of the sage grouse. It seems to me that in dealing with all of these ESA issues, that being proactive, as we are now doing in southern New Mexico and in Texas with the dunes lizard, working with oil and gas industry to set up conservation programs that will allow oil and gas development, that's the way to go. And my hope is that we're going to be able to do that with respect to the sage grouse.
Okay.
And Utah and your governor obviously are very involved with us.
So you could potentially be supportive of that, such a plan in Utah, especially given that the state would bear, you know, the primary burden of the regulations in enforcing them, implementing them, and so forth. That's a possibility.
It is.
Great. I next wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Central Utah Water Project, which you mentioned in your opening remarks. As you know, of course, in your proposed budget, you proposed authorizing language that would place management, the supervision, the oversight of this project back within the Bureau of Reclamation. And of course, it came out of the supervisory jurisdiction of the Bureau of Reclamation after Congress passed the Central Utah Water Project Completion Act of 1992. Now, there were reasons for that. While this project was under the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Reclamation prior to the 1992 Act's passage, there were often significant cost overruns. Sometimes the overhead costs exceeded 50% of the total project costs. But since 1992, since that act took effect, and since the Central Utah Water Project was placed under the jurisdiction of the Central Utah Water Conservancy District, the overhead costs have been reduced rather substantially. In fact, I believe the Department of the Interior not too long ago recognized this good management by giving it a secretarial award. So I just wanted to ask, given how well it's been managed under the Central Utah Water Conservancy District, and given the problems that we had when it was previously under the jurisdiction of the Bureau of Reclamation, why is it a good idea to change that, to offset that balance that Congress struck, that Congress imposed this fix for back in 1992?
Senator Lee, first let me say that the Central Utah Project has been a priority for President Obama and for me as Interior. We have invested literally hundreds of millions of dollars during my time, including significant allocations from the stimulus program, the American Recovery Act, to get that project moving on a timeline that's a good timeline. We're not abandoning the project. It's an important project. On the consolidation issue of the agency into the Bureau of Reclamation, it seems to me that it makes no sense to have another government agency out there doing one of our Bureau of Reclamation projects when we have hundreds of other Bureau of Reclamation projects within the Bureau of Reclamation. And so by having the Central Utah Project Office come within the Bureau of Reclamation, I believe it will allow us to do a better job, so it's an efficiency measure on our part.
But given the data prior to the 1992 Act taking effect, suggesting that just the opposite was true, how do you respond to that point? Is there something that's different now about the way the Bureau of Reclamation is run? Or?
I think I think, Senator Lee, if you look at the leadership that we have been able to bring into the department at the highest levels, the Assistant Secretary for Water and Science, Ann Castle, Mike Connor, the Commissioner of the Bureau of Reclamation, we are doing tremendous things on water supply through the Bureau of Reclamation, and I have no doubt that the same commitment and the same level of support for the Central Utah project in terms of our staff will absolutely continue within the new configuration.
Okay, I see my time's expired. Thank you.